We'll now be looking at a bowed instrument made by Henry Smith of Holborn, London, dated 1623. I say it's a bowed instrument because its identity is quite complicated. Like many instruments which have survived for centuries, it has been modified to accommodate the requirements of successive generations of musicians. In this instance, it seems to have started off as a viol, a member of the viol family, but then has been transmuted by various interventions and modifications into what may be a member of the violin family. I think viola has been mentioned, but as you'll see, there are many mysteries with this object, and they still have to be resolved, and there's still a fair amount of research to go into it, but this will be repaired, restored, and it will be part of displays of Dean Castle, which are due to be reopened in 2022.
There are cushions.
Oh, it looks really nice, actually.
It's actually quite a good wee idea. It is. And it's just using up all the wee bits and pieces and of bubble wrap. But it gave us a real...
I think it's very, very clever.
It's very good. We've been talking about these at lunchtime. We didn't have a budget for conservation materials at that point, and the interns and I thought of this, and we call them cushions, and it makes them sound good. I think that's very cool. Shall we? It's falling apart.
The viol can be converted into a viola.
It was Jasmine who came up with that idea, one of the interns. She made thousands of cushions when it was September. Now, this little instrument has been studied by Shane Mackey. I don't know if you've come across Shane. He's a tutor, maker, a conservator, art, Westin. And Shane has been up here a few times, not recently, not for a long time. But he's done a study of the wee Henry Smith.
Okay.
And he has just recently discovered what he calls a brother instrument, and which I call a sister instrument, in Europe. And he's hoping to come up and look at this one and go and see that one and add to the study.
Do you know where is the other one?
Where?
Where?
No, he just said Europe. But he's going to write up a wee bit of his information for us to add to our application for recognition. So when I get it, I'll send it to you. It's due kind of this week from him. So, yes, I thought you would be interested in this, given all the work that you've done.
It's very interesting because I agree and I disagree with him. I mean, it's evidently been modified, but if it was a viola, it will only have 4 strings, not 6. So in a way it's a viola, but a viol, it's still a viol, but for some reason, and it's definitely to be played in the shoulder. But at that point, why would you leave 6 strings? Because violas only have 4. So
I think that's been part of the fascination of the whole thing.
It probably could be more like a played like a violoncello da spalla, which is not a very known instrument. But yeah, this thing is really weird.
I picked it up at the castle and gave it to my cat in my hands. I never got it out of it. It literally comes apart.
Yeah.
It's usually holding together at the moment.
Put it tied together.
Of course, the neck, it's probably this. It's probably original. Both parts are original, but very likely it was about yay long. So it was chopped and turned very short because that's the only way that you can play it in your shoulder.
The distance.
Because otherwise it will be too far. I still don't know why, but I'm almost positive.
It's like an archaeological dig, isn't it?
See, because the wood is a match. It'll be interesting to see the dendrochronology. It is a conundrum, a mystery.
Mm-hmm. It was a heart-stopping moment.
Can imagine. But the good thing is it's not broken, it's just a clean.
Yeah.
And what happens with protein-based glue is often it just dries out to the point that it stops adhering.
Yeah. Exactly what happened.
Getting it back together, it's really a straightforward procedure. There's nothing.
No, there's no further damage or anything.
So that sound inside is the sound post, which is it's never glued, so it just falls as normal. On the other hand, the fingerboard is very narrow for six strings. Because the action of the strings is also very, very high. Yeah, I think it's giving a similar effect to the guitar in that these parts are shrinking independently. That's why it's open at the. Sometimes there's also a brace in the back. There's a wooden reinforcement, pretty much like the guitar. If you come this way. See it? Mm-hmm. And again, the grain is going perpendicular to the rest of the grain. And that's probably what causes that kind of opening of the joints. I think altogether it's in really good shape. It's just.
It's dated 1623. It's early.
Very French.
The colour of the wood is lovely, isn't it?
It is. Spruce.
Such a relief to hear it's an easy fix. Well, easy-ish, you know what you're doing.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it easy, but I call it straightforward. It's one of those things.
That's a better explanation.
It's one of those that it would be tempting to try and revert it to the before state. Of course, I'm not suggesting you should. I think you shouldn't, but it's tempting.
Probably a silly question, John. On the reverse, the varnish to the blackboard.
Yeah, it feels like from here on was rubbed off. I don't understand why. I was trying to figure out.
think if it was something to do with rubbing, but it seems
I don't know. I think it seems to be more like when they did the procedure of cutting it down, it was rubbed off because, I mean, when playing it originally, it would have been played between the legs. The Italian name for this is viola da gamba, viola of legs.
Yes.
And you would play it pretty much like this.
Yeah.
And the neck would be a little
Longer.
So there is no reason why you would have varnish loss. And then the other option is the viola da braccio, which would be like this.
And it wouldn't be there either.
And like a violin basically. So in that case, if it's too long, you cannot play. So I think that's why the neck has been shortened. It's still not a comfortable instrument, and it's too big to be comfortable. Many viola da gambas or smaller than this were turned into instruments de braccio at some point during their life, in the 19th century very often, or early 20th century. But then you would have 4 strings, not 6. And what they would do is just either put a new scroll, and this they will save as a knick-knack, or you plug the holes and then just use 4. Because having 6 specs and such a big scroll in an instrument that is already big, it's going to make the weight quite heavy on the neck.
Uncomfortable.
So it wouldn't make sense to leave 6 strings if you're not planning to use them. So I think that is a very straightforward thing. And then get some sort of reinforcement on the underside. They used to be little wooden clicks. Nowadays I use Japanese paper. It's just a little friendlier. But if you don't open the back or the front, the access there is limited. So you can go through the F holes, but well, in this case, C holes. It's a lovely instrument. Yeah, I think this is also the reinforcement inside, pushing the side and breaking it finally. A little bit like with the wire. This side is lucky. Let's see, it's also open there. How if the reinforcement are pushing that way. Nothing that we can do about it. So it's just to know it's there, but it's very interesting that you have 6 strings and it's 55 millimeters, and this is 45, so there's no way that you could have the strings with that finger. It's really weird. It's a mystery. Because at the moment, the joints between the neck and the head is quite clean, but if they start moving like that, chances are that the sides start to get drawn all around it, and then it's not going to be nice and perfect. So
it's totally separate.
Yeah, I mean, it's it both. We can just rearrange the cushions and get them ready. The same with these. Let's put everything inside of the bag.
Yes.
Just not
Yes.
tied together. Yeah, I think better off.
That wee bag that's for the wee bit that just fits in
Yeah,
there.
I'm not entirely sure what's this stuff. Oh, is this?
Yeah.
Yeah. This one, I mean, I really want to put it back together. It's one of those like urgent, like, oh my god, let's just put it together.
You'll be thrilled to bits if you do.
Yeah, beautiful instrument.
It's lovely. Goodness me,
You'll be
400 years old.
Yeah. So one project that will be interesting, and probably where Bean can help with something like that, is to make a copy of it, but how it was, how it's supposed to be, rather than how it is now. And probably like displaying it side by side, or having kind of a concept with it. Because obviously these cannot go back as how
Is this playable?
It would be playable, but it's really weird because you have everything that is wrong.
It's not right.
So although it could play, it probably wouldn't tell you much of how it works.
Shames are made.
But exactly, so if you get a copy of how it should be, then it's kind of bringing back its voice on a different voice.
How it was when it was new.
And I think it will be a really good project. I just because it does like it's a thing that
It makes answers, doesn't it?
Yeah, and having an instrument that is how it was, like with the longer neck, with the nice shape without being all. Look at that.
I know.
All right, let's get the box open.
Right. Oh.
Should we go with this?
I must let Yasmin know in Hong Kong that our cushions are very appreciated. I put this up for Facebook. It's just brilliant.